it's been known for a long time, right, that there's a bunch of stuff moving around the Earth that look like spheres, and that the Earth is a plane. And so it really makes no sense to think that they have to be the same. That's actually kind of weird to think that. Like, imagine the first person that went outside, they looked up and they saw those lights in the sky. They're like, you know what? I bet the Earth is one of those lights. Why would you think that? That doesn't, no, that's not what we observe. We see everything moves around the Earth. There's a light show that moves around the Earth, and we use it
Hmm.
for a calendar. All of a sudden, someone's like, no, actually, I think we're one of those lights. And then they saw Venus. This is the official story. Then they saw Venus and they said, I bet the Earth is the same exact size as that light. And then they made the whole solar system from that assumption. Then they supposedly proved that they guessed it right decades later. That's the stupidest story I've ever heard in my life. Someone looked up and saw Venus and said, I bet the Earth is a sphere that's the exact same size as that light. What? And then they just got it right because they built the whole solar system with that size, planet in Earth, and then they ratioed it out.
Again, big if
It,
true. Send me a source on that somebody made all that
yeah, yeah.
up based on just guessing that it was the same size.
That's
I
the
think
official story, bro.
you know what I think, dude. I think that when I look into each of those things that I said big if true to, I think I'm going to find out that you're full of shit and you're lying.
No, no. The official story is that they estimated that they guessed that the Venus was the same size as the Earth, but the official story is that they eventually verified that it was true.
And
They just
based on what did they guess that?
literally they just had to they had to have a size
Just
of one of the they had to have a size for one of the planets
just threw a
to
dart at
map out
Venus.
dude, that's the official story, bro. I get that it
I'm gonna
sounds
look into it.
ridiculous.
I'm
It's
gonna look
because
into
it
that.
is ridiculous. And by the way, do you know all the people that made up the system? Like they were they worship the sun. Like
Based.
like and Newton thought that the sun, and I'm not saying this on some like anti-pagan, no, I'm just saying like that isn't science, right?
By the way, your Holocaust revisionist thing that you just said, by the way, that's all bullshit too.
what?
The
Well, you
whole
agree that if I don't know the true number, that doesn't somehow prove the other number. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know how
That's
I don't
true,
know.
but if you go around saying that you know something you don't know, you end up doing like the wrong thing.
Yeah, but if I say I know that number is not true, and you say how, and I say because here's the consensus of all of Europe, I've proven that that number is not true. I don't need to know what the number is. That's all I'm saying. Like it's very that's just real, bro. Right? Like
Yeah,
we're
but if
lied
you
to
say,
every day.
I think it's probably more like this. Well, based on what? And you're like, well, I know that number's not true.
Well, now let's talk about that. See, that's not actually what happens. I just say, look, they claim the Earth is a spinning ball, and we tested it. And here, if you actually research it and learn it, you'll find out that that's not the evidence doesn't support that, right? And then people say, oh yeah, well then what about this, 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 and this? So option one, I can be like, well, logically, falsification is independent of replacement. I don't know. I can't go out there. I can't verify. I don't know. People spiral and they're like, see, that's how stupid flat Earth is. Blah blah blah. Or I can give like good faith speculation, right? Like I don't know, I can speculate this, this, and this, and this court. Then it's like I don't think so, or prove it. So that's the bad faith because I can't go to space. And let me actually, this is pretty funny and more light. The guy in the chat said, "Witsit pretending the Earth is flat, just so he can get a trip to space from Elon. Prove me wrong." And
It'd
I
be
don't know if you
easier to
saw
get
it.
it from Jeff Bezos, by the way. I mean, they're already
Well,
sending
he doesn't
YouTubers
go
up.
near as high, right? He goes like
But you can
60
see the
miles.
sphere. You can go up and see that it's a globe from that height.
Well, nah. One of the ladies that was on the Blue Origin said that she was really disappointed because she thought she was going to get to see the curve of the Earth and that they obviously weren't high enough to see it. That's what an actual passenger on Blue Origin said. But
Send me that, big if true. I watched them go up with the YouTube, the what's the thing? What's it? You know which one I'm talking about? They filmed it on YouTube.
Yeah. The really big YouTube channel.
Those
Yeah, I forgot what
guys.
it's called. It's
So,
like
Dude Perfect.
yeah.
Dude went up with a GoPro while he was up there. He goes, yeah, and I can confirm it's round. I can see the curve. Was he lying?
Okay, first of all, GoPros can make my desk look like
no, but he said he could see it out the window.
That's right. The guy
I
said.
think that when I look it up, what I think I'm going to find out is that when she said that, what she actually says, she wasn't high enough to be able to capture the curve in frame or something like that. I think you're full of shit.
She's saying you couldn't see the curve, bro.
She was saying she couldn't see it with her eyes.
Yes.
She's saying when she was up there, she was like, I couldn't tell if the Earth was curved because it wasn't high enough.
She said that she was disappointed. She thought they were going to be high enough to see the curve of the Earth, but they couldn't. So whatever. And Neil deGrasse Tyson will tell you that at 62 miles, you can't see the curve of the Earth. You're only a couple millimeters above a beach ball. You wouldn't be able to tell that it's curving. But then there's the anti-flat earthers who say, no, I swear you can see it in a plane. right? So it's like, who do we even trust here? Do we trust the random obsessive people that claim flat Earth is really stupid but then stalk us, or do we trust the official sources, right? Like the scientific communicator with the astrophysics degree who says at 62 miles you wouldn't see the curve of the Earth because you would just be like barely above it. But anyway, I just want to address the claim, right? So Elon claims that they're going up 300 to 500 kilometers, so that's way higher, right? That's like up to around 200 miles. That's way higher than 60 miles, and they're claiming that they're doing this like civilian program where you
Mm.
can you'll float around for 3 days, so you'll be in orbit at like 200 miles up for 3 days. So yeah, I tweeted out and said, let's end this once and for all, send the first flat earther to space.
Yeah.
And so now people are running this narrative or whatever, but the truth is, like, I I no, I just actually would go up there, and if it was a ball, I'd come back and tell everyone I've been wrong the whole time that the Earth's a ball. And these people just can't conceive of that. They think I do this to grift or something, and I'm like, all right, well, that was a terrible decision because you don't make any money being a flat earther, bro. But
Mm.
anyway, what do you think about that? You think I should try to get Elon to send me to space?
I mean, I guess somebody's got to do it. I guess, but I mean, is anybody else that they send up there who says that it's a ball? You're just gonna say that they're lying, right? I suppose because you won't take their word for it.
Well, it depends on who it is. Like, I think I kind of speak for all of us, where it's like if it's legitimately just a normal person that can kind of be trusted, then maybe we can take what they're saying pretty legitimately, right?
Hmm.
But
But
usually
like
it's not that.
astronauts who go to the space station, do you think this there is a space station up there, right?
They're all like military
So you
intel.
think they're just all in on it lying?
I don't think anyone is on the ISS. That's right.
Oh, you don't think
I,
anybody's on the ISS? You think it's empty and
no,
that's
no,
all?
the ISS is real. Like, I've tracked
But
it.
there's nobody on it.
I don't. Nah. Well, I mean, if there's someone on the ISS, for some reason they still fake footage, right? Like, for sure you can prove they faked things.
Okay.
They've used green screen and glitches and wires and crazy stuff. But people say the same thing about the moon landing, right? Like, I think Harris and Alex Jones' take
No,
is
I'm
that
fine
the
with that.
moon
I'm
landing.
fine with that. Look, I think I've seen some of the stuff that they say is fake, and I think it's
Mhm.
not. I think some of it they say, "Oh, I think there's a wire right here because the pocket moved." No, I think that guy's pinky went in his pocket. I think it was just like you're
Oh,
just
that
looking at
that
it wrong.
one's terrible.
But
That
I
one's
think there are
terrible.
other
You're
ones
wrong.
that you've been able to catch that yeah they had a green screen or some sort of tracking device on them because
Yeah.
they're faking it because that's cheaper. It's just when you're making educational materials, you're gonna have to do multiple takes. You want to have the lighting set up, and it's something that's being made for school, and they're pretending, "Hey, we're astronauts and we're in space and we're teaching you about how gravity works and everything like that." And so they're just doing stuff. Sometimes there are some faked videos because what's the price of putting an astronaut and a film crew in space versus what's the cost of setting up a film studio? So
Yeah,
I think
especially,
sometimes,
yeah,
and I
especially
think
if you
some of
can't go up
those
there.
things are being taken and being, look, they're faking things, therefore it's all fake. And I think that's a false
But
assumption.
think about how weird this has just gotten, right? Like, you're effectively being a defense attorney explaining why they're faking stuff.
Hmm.
What that means, even if what you said is true, is the government is lying to us, claiming that there are
Yeah,
videos of them
yeah,
in
I know
space.
that the government lies all the time, and this is why I
Well, then
don't
why does
like
everyone
flat.
trust NASA? It's
Well, so
so
here's the
weird. It's
problem,
so weird.
because I think that what you do, one of the damages that flat Earth theory does, is that when people think of conspiracy or government psyops or government corruption, government dishonesty, if somebody tries to talk about the government's lying to us about this,
Mhm.
now anybody who's talking about that, when you find actual lies that they're telling us, having to do with wars or drugs or blah blah blah, society. Now there's this whole other group of fringe people who are like, yeah, and they're lying to us about the earth too, and they're lying to us about the moon, and they're lying to us about God and demons and angels, and the earth's hollow and it's a toroid, and there's and it's like, that is so fucking kooky. But now everybody who talks about actual conspiracy is being lumped in with, now conspiracy theory means I don't even know what the fucking moon is. The moon's made of
But that's
cheese
stupid.
plasma.
That's stupid. How can you just group everyone in anyway? Like, if someone does that, they're just stupid. It's the same thing with like how they
Yeah.
try to
People are
like.
stupid,
I don't care
Austin.
about stupid people, bro. Like I'm not
Well,
gonna
I do
capitulate to
because I
stupid
live
people.
in a world where they all vote and they all go to work with me and they drive down the road with me and
But
they
what can we
all,
do, bro?
well,
What can
we
we do?
cannot fill their minds with fairy tales that confuse them because they're retarded.
You you mean like the idea that the Earth is tilted and wobbling four different wobbles, and we're spinning, and we're flying around the sun, flying through space, but we just can't tell? Like, that's stupid to me. The idea that space and time change and warp to create illusion. This is Jewish mysticism, bro. It's totally fake nonsense. Like, this is the important part. I don't know why this never lands, but for one, I don't trust the federal government. Okay. Um, for some reason, people give NASA the exception, like give them the pass. Like, oh, I don't trust any federal government agency. They're all lying except for NASA. I've gone and talked to astronauts face to face. I caught them lying. I have it recorded. I haven't published it yet because I know they won't let me keep going in there, right? If I get it out. I caught them lying. I looked them in the eyes, bro. I don't care what other people think. I want to know the truth. If they're in space, I want to know. If the Earth's a globe, I want to know. It's not. Okay. I'm open to being wrong. I caught them lying, so now what that means is I can't trust anything the government's saying about the Earth. I'm like that's off the table. Like the moon landing, if some people believe in that, I don't know why, but I don't trust them. So now if we take this government out of the picture, that's almost all the evidence that makes people think that the Earth is a ball in space. If you don't have pictures from the government, you have almost nothing. I mean, that's when Elon steps in now, right?
Dude, they figured out that the Earth was a ball before America existed. That's not where it comes from.
Where where did you hear that?
Dude, they had fucking dudes setting up
Reuters?
shadows and measuring the distances of shadows at different parts of Alexandria
Mhm.
versus this way, and then doing a little bit. They invented calculus for this shit. Like they're figuring it out. Geometry like showed us that the Earth is spherical based on noon shadow at this point has a different length shadow than noon shadow at this point. If you noon over
Of course it
here, it's
does.
this long versus noon over here, it's this long. If it was flat, they would be the same, or you know what I mean? Like, and they were able to calculate the curve, the actual curve, way before, like the shadows inside of wells that are deep enough. Like you can calculate the curve of the Earth way before. Like Galileo and that's like way before. They were peering out with telescopes and figuring out the solar system and the curvature of the Earth, way before NASA.
Okay, that's true, right? But they, first of all, when they invented the whole solar system they thought the sun was in the center of the entire universe. And the person that mapped out the
Yeah.
planets is called Kepler. They believed that the sun was basically a god that was singing a song, a heavenly song, and vibrated and made everything move around it. And then Newton said, if gravity does exist, it must be an act of God. He actually called gravity God, and he said, but the Earth could just be in the center. And they took that part out. That these are all just facts that you'll never hear any of this. But yeah, let's talk about the first thing you're saying. Everyone says that. You know how like whenever they were shut the world down, they told us we had to take their stuff, right? Everyone was saying the same things. They were just repeating stories. Everyone was repeating a narrative. No, this is how it works, and this is what it does. Okay, that's the same thing with this. They say, yeah, they proved the Earth was a ball. Back the Greeks did it. They looked at the shadows and they determined the circumference of the Earth. It's called Eratosthenes, right? And it died. The story is that he looked into two different shadows. They were 500 miles apart, and then he measured the difference in the shadows, and he was able to get a circumference, right? Because it's like bending a certain rate, so you can get a spherical circumference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the official story. First of all, there's only like two secondary documentations of this, and they contradict each other. Like one it uses wells, one uses something. It doesn't matter. He only used two shadows in the story. Okay, you can't prove the difference in a flat Earth or a sphere with two shadows. It would happen on a flat Earth as well. And like even Michelle Thaler from NASA and Neil deGrasse Tyson in this anti-flat Earth video admit that. So the official story is that they use two shadows, but you would need many more shadows to see if it's a flat Earth or a globe. Yet everyone repeats it and claims they proved the Earth was a globe. But we have to demonstrate everything or we're liars, right? So we've done the test and shown like a light source. If the sun was closer over a flat Earth, you get the same thing, or the sun's super far away, right? And then the light rays are parallel on a sphere and you get it. So think about that. Like whether the Earth is flat or a globe, they're lying to everyone to make them say it's a globe. Don't you think that's weird? Like that's why I would say the strongest arguments against flat Earth is that the CIA created a psyop to discredit the rest of the conspiracy theories, kind of like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did to breathe life into it was they put all this mainstream evidence out for the globe, but lied and made it deceptive so that people would see that it was a lie and then they would think flat Earth had some legitimacy. And that's such a reach though, because like that's the only evidence that they have. So like I'm just saying I'm still manning the best case other side. right? The idea that it's just really easily debunked and the whole sun, the whole earth would be lit up. It's just all stupid. The arguments against it is stupid. So, like, have you heard that though? National Geographic created two videos that disproved flat Earth, quote unquote, and they blatantly lied in both of them. And they've been forensically analyzed, right? They literally took the same frame, overlaid a helicopter into the frame, and claimed that the curvature was blocking it. And you can prove it. There are little birds that go on the very same there are little birds that go across the scene at the very same place. The waves move exactly. You can overlay them. They're the same scene, but they put a helicopter in it. I've never even heard of Globe Earth ever deny like it's blatantly fake. It's damning. And so the question would be like, why did they lie in the Stephen Hawking documentary to claim they proved the Earth's a globe? Like, why would you have to lie
I
about it?
mean,
Like,
honestly, it's probably because the editor was just like, this looks better. Honestly, just like stuff like that happens all the time. Somebody's got to edit together a big old documentary. He wants it to look cool, and the footage that they got looked like shit. So they just like, he just made it. He just like replicated the thing. It's probably
just
that.
so you know, like what the idea was like they were pretty far away from a helicopter that was going to land and take off. And
Right.
since the Earth's a ball, then it should have been blocking some of the helicopter, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it landed. And they show the magic moment, the reveal when you couldn't see all the helicopter. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, see, proved it, Earth's a globe. And then
Right.
people analyzed it and it was completely fake. Like the whole thing was faked. They put a helicopter. You agree that's pretty suspect, right? Like that was seen by
Yeah, but it's
millions and
suspect of
millions
the
of people.
fact that like it's a company who's trying to make money.
But why you gotta lie? Like flat Earth is supposedly so
They're
stupid.
lie. It's not. You're calling it a lie, but it's like, dude, it's the History Channel who's making a program. Like television is lies, movies are lies, it's fiction. And so it doesn't mean that they had to lie and they couldn't do it right. The point is they wanted to make it phenomenal. They're trying to make something, it's movie magic. They're trying to make something like a wow moment in their dumb video that they're making.
Well,
So
if
like
the Earth's a
if
globe, it would just block the helicopter. You would just film it and move on.
yeah, so you could actually set up a really good experiment that you get good footage and then the helicopter goes down and the cameraman doesn't miss it and everybody did it right. Or in post, you could just edit a helicopter in. Which one's easier?
Well, one of them is lying and being
Yeah,
deceptive.
and they
So,
don't care.
no, I agree they don't care, but my point is
They're a company who's trying to
logically,
make money and sell commercial ads.
dude, just be logical though. Like, if the Earth is a globe and flat Earth is so stupid, you wouldn't have to lie to prove it. A 5-year-old could go out there with their camera and
They
prove
weren't
it.
trying to prove it. They were trying to make money
That's
dunking
what
on
they
you.
said. Well, they
Oh,
didn't.
that's what
They
they
didn't.
said? Oh, that's what the Hollywood movie commercial selling TV
Well,
guy
it's
said?
just so you know, it's a National Geographic documentary about Stephen Hawking, right? So
Yeah.
it's all about science, and
Right.
they lied. It doesn't prove one way or the other,
Yeah,
but it's
they're
a
not
lie.
they aren't science. They are a production company.
Yeah, with scientists, right? And so then there's another one they put out where they supposedly these got millions of views, bro. This was to shut down flat Earth. They put a boat and they ran it out with a sign on it, and they're like, "Watch, part of the bottom of the sign's going to get blocked by the curve." And they said, "Okay, look, there's a whole two lines missing at the bottom that proves the Earth's a ball." And then they say in the documentary, like, "That's the only explanation. It proves the Earth's a globe." They lied though, like, because there actually wasn't another line down there. They were pretending there was more of the sign than there really was, just lying, and the horizon was out behind it. They faked a whole test. That means that they
Hmm.
went into the test knowing they were going to fake it so that they could claim that the Earth was a globe. That's two times National Geographic, 2 for 2, just blatantly lied to try to claim the Earth's a globe. Then you have Behind the Curve, the Netflix documentary, the most popular flat Earth documentary ever, right? That supposedly the flat earthers proved the Earth was a globe themselves, and we have them documented admitting that they made it a hit piece and they lied and twisted everything around because they say flat Earth is dangerous. They had to make sure no one watches it. So I guess my point there, bro, is you have to understand that if there's a truther, right, and they start looking into this and they find out that every mainstream film that's supposedly proving it is lying, obviously they're going to be like, well, we have to scratch this. And they go look at NASA and they see them faking stuff. They're like, okay, we can't trust any of that. We're going to have to go check it ourselves. Like, you at least,
You
can
know,
you
I
not at least
I
like
get you
Bible
that it's a
test?
problem because if people lose trust in what the people that they think that they can trust, then they just throw it all out. And you're saying I talked to a guy, I think he was lying to me, so now I just don't trust the government at all anymore. Because if that guy lied, then
Well,
they
yeah,
all could
yeah.
be lying. But I don't see you.
Yeah.
I don't see you doing the same level of scrutiny of yourself and the other guys. If Eric Dubé tells a lie that I can say is a lie, or if you tell a lie that I can say is a lie, we don't throw everything you say out. We don't throw everything, and I think we should. And I mean, but that's the problem though. Like you want to point the finger at National Geographic, or at I found a string in one of their videos or something, so they didn't go to the moon. You want to do that, but if I catch you in a lie, or if I catch you like fucking with the truth a little bit, if I catch Eric Dubé kind of twisting his words a little bit like that, do you guys throw those out? I don't see you doing that. It's like you have an agenda. You're looking to be proven right. And what you're right about is that they're wrong.
Lying, if there's someone's intentionally lying, they are discredited. And obviously there are probably things they say are true, but we can't trust them. If someone says something and is wrong and then comes out and said, okay, I was wrong about that, or like what I said is misleading, then I don't care about that, right? Like people make mistakes. Dude, I have thousands of hours of talking about some of the most complex physics in the world. And then basically my life is every little nerdy Bill Nye wannabe thinks they got a gotcha on me 24/7. And
Right.
I don't know every square inch of existence, right? So I'm wrong at times. I may say things and misremember things at times, but it's about like being honest. It's about the intention to deceive, right? Like that, like the intention to deceive is lying. And I'm just saying that's what they do. And I call flat earthers out for anything like that all the time. I call them out all the time because I just don't like liars at all. Like if I get something wrong, I'm not lying.
I think that when you do I think what you do sounds like when you say it appears as though it might be a sphere, and then you say that you don't know what the moon is and it might be plasma and stuff, and you give us kind of a big word salad, and then you dodge to, well, that's not the right question to ask, and that wouldn't really matter anyway if the Earth was black. I think you're lying. I think what you're actually doing is sort of just evading the truth. It's like a lie by omission. And I think you're doing your best to skirt around things.
Why though? Why? Like what? Why? Like
why would you lie, or why is that lying?
I'm saying, why would I be scared if the moon's a sphere? Like I'm saying, that's what I don't understand. Like that doesn't bother me at all if the moon's a sphere. I openly admit it looks like it's a sphere. The thing is, I've never seen the other side of it, and there's 1,000 ways that something can look like a sphere and not be a sphere. And you can replicate it, right? Like you can have a flat piece of paper that looks like a sphere, like 1,000 ways. You can have something concave, you can have something flat, you can have a hemisphere, you can have all kinds of things. I agree it looks like a sphere, but we've never seen the other side of it, bro. So like I can't say I know it's a sphere. The thing is that flat earthers just suspended belief. We're not just going to start claiming we know things we don't know. We're not going to say we know that star is 17 trillion miles away. That's stupid. I'm not going to look into the sky and be like, I'm looking back in time. No, I'm not. That's stupid. These are fairy tales that weirdos made up, and I don't believe them. So I get what you're saying, that it sounds like I'm like evading it and not being honest. Like, no, I'm just trying to make the point. Like, I don't know, bro. I'm not gonna start making stuff up. That's what got us in this mess. And also I'll say this, dude. I travel where everyone ridicules people about this discussion, but they're grossly underinformed. They don't know anything. I traveled the United States.
But the things that you bring up, dude, like honestly, I gotta say, like there's moon waves. Like I videoed it and there was moon waves. I don't know. Is there fucking dust blowing across the moon? Is there a perturbation in our atmosphere? Like you don't fucking know. And you don't tell me that you know why. You just say there's moon waves. Therefore, maybe the moon's making its own light.
I think I know why. Well, no. I actually think that it's just in a fluid medium. I don't think space is a vacuum, and I think there's a fluid there. And if the Earth is in the center, even Edwin Hubble. But
that's what I mean. You'll say, I don't know what's on the backside of the moon, never been there. But then you'll say you think that there's a fluid medium up there. You haven't fucking been there. Why do you think that there's a fluid medium? See, you don't give yourself the same level.
I think, bro.
Yeah, but right. But do you think that the moon is a sphere? I don't know. I haven't been there. But I think it's in a fluid medium.
I think the moon, like if I had to guess what I think right now, like a plasma type of sphere, like some type of spherical plasma.
What do you mean? Plasma?
What do I mean?
What kind of plasma stays the same all the time, month after month? It doesn't move.
If there's a specific charge, it's just going to look like plasma. Like, dude,
what do you mean? I don't know look like plasma. Plasma typically is moving. All the plasma I'm familiar with is pretty fluid.
No, people have replicated what looks like the moon in the form of plasma.
What kind of plasma? Like blood? Blood is plasma.
No. Like
the fire, the moon. Like when I'm welding, I have like a plasmic fucking bead of like liquid molten metal. There's plasma happening in the electrical arc. What kind of plasma? I use a plasma cutter torch to cut through metal. I'm familiar with plasma.
You know,
What kind of plasma is just frozen?
Ionized gas is plasma. Ionized gas is plasma.
So you think it's an ionized gas that just?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, bro. Like
I'm asking you what you think
it
it is.
Yeah, but then
you told me you think it's in the fluid medium. What do you think the thing is that's in the fluid medium? You don't know. You don't have a concept of what you think that it is.
I think it's a light that looks like a sphere. I think it's a huge mystery. I think both the sun and the moon are huge mysteries, and that's because I think this place was created, bro. And like you can disagree with that, but I think that we can't understand the sky. But then everyone comes around thinking they're super smart and wants me to tell them about the sky. But what's so funny is all the stories people believe about the skies. You know how we got them? People made them up, bro.
Okay. So, don't you're about to give me this thing that you're doing right there. It's like I think that's lying. Like you're just you're starting to tell me a story and contextualize and frame and get all these things together to where it's like, and then maybe it's a plasma if I put it this way, and that's like the big setup. That's the trap. You're doing like a word trap, like you're doing like a word salad fucking confusion lie that's designed to obfuscate. And it's you're going to give me all these big if trues that I don't have a way about verifying. I'm not familiar with, and it's going to be one after the other. And you're skating away from the fact.
Go verify what I'm saying.
I'm going to do that after this stream. Yeah, I'm going to have to.
You're not going to be able to prove anything I said wrong, though, and that's what I'm trying to say to you. But that's what I'm trying to say to you is like, I get it sounds crazy.
I've already done it to you one time, and we're going to go to gravity next, so don't leave before we get to gravity. But I've already done it to you one time because you already brought up that one guy. I don't remember his name, but the last time I was watching one of your videos, this is a couple months ago, so it's not fresh for me. But you brought up this guy. You're like, this guy has a theory, and it's in a peer-reviewed paper, and he basically says that there's a different way of looking at math where you could see that everything going around the Earth would be the same as the Earth going around the sun. And I looked at that guy's
a fucking. It's a sphere.
That guy's a quack.
What?
That guy's a quack in the paper in the journal that he was in. It's a fucking quack journal.
The European Journal of Physics.
That's not what it was. And
yeah, it is. Luka Popov,
Luka Popov. Yeah, the guy is a quack.
Dude, but you know why they call him a quack? Because he is a geocentrist. Okay,
that's not the only reason. Because he's involved in other quackery, and that's all he does is quack stuff.
Bro, do you not see how this is just like J-ish propaganda terms? Like dismiss anything that doesn't fit within
that guy is the Deepak Chopra of physics, dude, and not even on that level.
Dude, that's called a genetic fallacy, bro.
Okay,
instead of addressing
the fallacy you're doing is you're doing a false equivalence where you're equating him with actual peer-reviewed scientists and engineers.
It's the European Journal of Physics, bro. It's not. It's the European Journal of Physics. It's not some.
But citing as though he got it in there, and I don't even remember if that was it.
Well, I know the story. He submitted that. It got published and peer reviewed, and they're like, okay, the math does check out, but we don't know for sure that the Machian principle is true. Then he submitted another one, and in that one, he just really actually suggests that geocentrism is more viable, and they refuse to publish it. Dude, do you not agree that that's bad? Do you not see that there are people that have heart attacks everywhere?
Yeah, so he snuck one by him. Dude, James Lindsay goes and does this all the time, and he was just on Joe Rogan talking about it the other day. He's out there writing all of these journals. They are pay for play, and they'll bring things in and they'll post stuff up, and you're like acting like because he got a thing posted,
James Lindsay like is legit. A joke, bro. Like that dude is such a joke. I don't care.
Are you saying he didn't do those studies that he wrote that he got published, and it's all about how like sexual gender dysphoria based on like walking your dog the wrong way or like whatever the hell that his thing was? He's getting all this stuff published. They publish stuff. It's
publish
quacky shit gets published all the time is my point. And saying that this guy is a peer-reviewed guy and this is real, you're promoting it like it's legit.
Look, bro. If I wrote that out on a napkin, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who wrote it. It's just math, and it's objective. You can show the math the other way around. You could even use gravity and show that the Earth can be in the center, everything moving around it.
Yeah.
No one's ever refuted the math. And then I show relational mechanics from Ajay. He's a PhD astronomy professor that's been respected for 30 years, who writes all the math and physics of how the Earth could be in the center. He doesn't think the Earth is in the center, right? But he says, objectively, it can be. Here's relativity, here's Newtonian, whatever gravity you use. all the math works with the Earth in the center.
I
And
bet all that
no one.
math works with me in the center. I bet it does. I bet there's a math we can do where I'm the center. And when
Okay,
I do a push
but
up, the Earth's moving away from me. I'm pushing the
do you
Earth off me.
check this? Check this. Do you agree, bro, that if the Earth is in the center of the universe, that that's significant? We agree that that would be significant. So like, how would you? How do we go about seeing if it's doing that? Right? Like, because I've tried to find out if the Earth is moving, and I found out that it's not. They like if I quote Stephen Hawking said, "The Earth could be in the center of the universe. It matches all observations and experiments. It can never be disproven. I choose not to believe it because on grounds of modesty." Albert Einstein said, "Everything occurs on the Earth as if the Earth is in a state of rest, right? And is not moving and is in the center of the universe." Edwin Hubble said, "All observations say that the Earth is in the center of the universe, a central Earth akin to ancient civilizations and conceptions." But we choose to disregard that at all costs because of the horror of being in a special position in the universe. So, my point here is they did not tell you that. They told you when you were 5, "Here's the solar system," and then you made little balls, and you were taught that it's a scientific fact, it's been proven. Well, when I went and read all the PhDs that made the model, Einstein, Arthur Eddington, Stephen Hawking, all these people, right? They said, "No, no, 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 that's not true." Edwin Hubble, I mean, it's called the Hubble telescope because he's the one that changed the whole model to accelerative expansion. He's huge in that paradigm. I just named 3 of the biggest people that created the entire model: Einstein, Edwin Hubble, and Stephen Hawking. All of them write extensively and repeatedly and explain the Earth could be in the center of the universe and it actually matches the evidence, right? But we just philosophically don't want to go that route. So why didn't they tell us that? Why did they tell us that it was science and it had been proven? Why didn't they tell us that actually it could be in the center? Do you not think that's weird? Because
Because that's not how
obviously
it appears. It doesn't appear
it
to be
is
in the
how
center. No.
it
You're
does.
saying that there's a way of looking at math where the difference between this and the center versus this, we don't know where the center is. The difference between this going around that or that going around this is indistinguishable. There's a part of math
yeah.
that's that way, the
No,
way
no,
of calculating
observations.
physics.
No,
But when we look at how
current model
everything's
says
working,
it looks like we're in the center. The current model says everything looks like visually looks like we're in the center. And they say the reason is because the universe is accelerating and expanding in every direction. So it's just going to look like it's in the, like if you were on a balloon, if you put a little ant on a balloon and you blew the balloon up, if the ant looked around, like he's not going to know, he's going to think he's in the center of the balloon, right? But he's not. Or the other analogy they use is like a raisin and a loaf of bread as it gets bigger and bigger. From that perspective of the raisin, you would think you're in the center because it's expanding out like a balloon. Or you could put little dots all over the balloon, and as it gets bigger, each dot's getting further away from each other and can look like it's in the center. That's the official story. And the reason is because when they looked out in space and they got these really dope telescopes that can see super far, they were shocked to find out that even the things the most far away move around the Earth. Everything moves in relation to
but
the
in our
Earth.
solar system, it looks like the planets are going around the sun.
The sun makes its annual cycle and the planets do as well, and they seem to move in relation to each other. Yeah,
So you just
everything just
resaid what
moves
I
around.
said in a way that's everything except for what I just said.
Well, just more specific. It doesn't. You can
No, it
interpret
looks
it
like everything goes around the sun.
or if you map out all the planets and then map out the sun's path, they both just do their own path within the torus field. You can assume that they're moving around there, but and here's the thing: even if they were, it also wouldn't prove that the Earth is. That's actually the Luka Popov paper.
I know. Yeah.
He
See, that's
uses
what you
that. He
do.
uses that idea.
I
He
know.
uses that idea.
So even
I don't believe in
if,
that.
but then it's like the sun's going around the Earth and everything else is going around the sun, but everything's going. Dog. It's
Yeah,
like.
but I don't believe that though. Like, because to me, when I like this is the thing, bro. When you look at all the paths, they fit right within the flower of life. Do you think it's just a coincidence that if the Earth is stationary
No,
and
I
in the
don't.
center,
I don't think it's a coincidence.
well, that's what the official story is that it's just a coincidence,
Well,
and
that's
that's
because I
stupid.
don't know. Sacred geometry is crazy, and the divine ratios we're still figuring shit out. Like we don't know why it's like
Don't you
one
think
point
that
six one eight to one. Like
pretty
we
dope?
don't like it's circles, dude. It's literally just like it has to do with if you draw a circle with its radius on the edge of another circle, you end up with this ratio. And oh shit, everything is circles and circles relating with circles works out into patterns that match that pattern. Whoa, big fucking, that's crazy.
No, I'm saying like in the quantum scale and in all flowers and in your biology and in everything, we see that ratio. It's just how pressure media when things take equilibrium, they make that pattern
Right.
everywhere.
Because
Yeah,
everything is
but
spherical.
your side has to ignore that because it can't combine the quantum scale with the earthly scale with the cosmological scale because that's why they say that they can't unify the theory, right? Because you have to have relativity and they think there's some graviton and all this weirdo stuff. So, and dude, think about this. This is what I want you to think about this.
And
So
then we're going to do
in
gravity.
okay, cool.
Okay.
This is kind of can segue into that. So like for the current model, I explained that it's like just an illusion that we're in the center, right? Like that's the official story. Well, they say it's because it's accelerating and expanding faster than the speed of light, right? The universe is expanding. So, in order for it to expand out, like that balloon we talked about, there has to be some type of energy making it do that, right? And so they call that dark energy
Yep.
because they can't find it anywhere.
Right.
And so we can do tests where we have a vacuum and there's energy in the vacuum. It's called vacuum energy or quantum electrodynamics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even in a vacuum, when you get as much air out as you can, there's still like electromagnetic energy in there.
Mm-hmm.
They took the vacuum energy value and tried to apply it to the sky because that would work perfect, right? It's like, oh, it's a vacuum. That would be the energy there. And it was off by 10 to the 120th power. Like that's 120 zeros. It wasn't even close. It's like the biggest discrepancy ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't use it. So that's just still called dark energy. There must be some energy there that no one can find. It's not in the vacuum on the earth. It's just in space and no one knows what it is, where it is, how it works, anything, but it has to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not how science works. Because if the earth is just in the center, you don't need dark energy. Right? You don't need energy expanding the universe. The earth
Right.
is
You
just in
just
the
need
center.
plasma.
No, plasma is irrelevant. The moon can be what they said it is, and still the Earth's in the center. Okay, so dark energy is
Wait a minute. No, if there's no
laughably.
plasma, why is what is it suspended in and how?
Oh, okay, that's a different thing.
No, so
The
you invoke
whole.
plasma, they invoke dark energy.
No, 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 no. Plasma was a
No, no,
speculation
no,
about the
no,
moon
no.
itself.
Oh, sorry, the superfluid, whatever the fuck you think that the moon is in. What do you think it's in? Some fluid
Oh yeah, I said yeah.
thing?
It looks like it's a fluid medium.
Yeah, so you're invoking an invisible fluid medium that you can't find, touch, you've never experienced. You just think that that's there. They think
Sure.
dark.
In a lab, superfluid exists. It's a real thing. They're claiming something exists that no one can find. They like, it's just a made up idea. But anyway, then the next thing is dark matter. Okay. And so if
Okay.
you combine dark energy and dark matter, it makes up 96% of their universe. That means that they can explain 96% of what the universe is made of. But if the Earth's in the center, you don't need either one of those things.
No,
And
it's
then that
it's
segues into gravity, obviously, because
yeah, they're
that's
talking
where
about
dark matter
it counts for 96% of the forces of movement of the celestial bodies. It's not
no, no, no.
it's not actually what is. It's like they're postulating the existence of a thing that is the cause of a force. They're looking for a
Well,
cause for a force that seems to be apparent in the math.
96% of all the matter and energy in the universe is dark matter and dark energy. That's so bad, bro. Like how
That's what I'm
bad
saying.
does
It's
your
energy.
theory
It's a
have to
force.
be?
Yeah.
Well, matter and energy, but I'm saying how bad does your theory have to be, bro? If you came up with the theory and it predicted 100 pennies and then there were just 4 pennies or whatever, right? Like your theory's wrong. We're going to throw your theory out. It's stupid. It's not even close. Typically in science, like you have to get within 1%.
No, I think this is bullshit. I think what you're saying that it's a bad theory. I don't think that holds water.
It
I think
is.
it's
It is. Like
no. I
oh
don't
well,
think
every
no.
physicist knows
I
that
think it's actually
that
just a discovery. I think it's like, all right, we've discovered that there's something that we don't know yet.
we
We've
just
discovered we have a new known unknown. There's unknown unknowns. There's known knowns and there's known unknowns. There's things we know that we don't know. And now we know something that we don't know about. We know there's something that we don't know about. It's just a new it's a new discovery of something that's unknown.
by the way, it's not new. It was discovered almost 100 years ago. It's just that no one can
Well,
figure it
that's
out.
new. But I mean, just like I'm just
A
saying.
100 years is especially with the
Yeah,
technology we have
quantum
now.
physics is new. Shit's new.
Somewhat, it's still decades
Yeah.
old, but
They discovered
I'm saying
steam engines like a little over 100 years ago. Like It's
Dark
just new.
matter was not. Yeah, and look how much we've come since then. Technology
Yeah,
increases
and that stuff
exponentially.
we're doing all that on the Earth, and they're talking about something that's out there where we can't go yet. And you're
Okay, but
like,
this
well,
is
they
what I
haven't
want.
figured it out yet. It's like, well, we're not there yet.
This is what I want you to know, bro. It wasn't that they discovered it. It was that if our gravity theory is true, then there has to be something called dark matter.
Mm-hmm.
That's why hundreds of physicists are proposing alternatives to relativity because no one can verify the dark matter idea. No one can find it. No one can even explain what it is.
Hundreds of physicists are postulating a
I
difference.
mean, I mean thousands. Like
Thousands
on
of them,
NASA,
big if true.
literally, like NASA's own database has over 200 proposed replacements on their database that there's something called modified Newtonian dynamics. And there's tons of little theories underneath that, right? And that is replacing relativity and getting rid of dark matter.
Mm-hmm.
But it also doesn't work. So it helps with the dark matter problem, but it doesn't help with other stuff. And this is what I'm trying to say. Someone will jump on my X, right? And they'll be like, you're so retarded. You don't even understand relativity. Da, 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 da. It's like every real physicist knows that relativity didn't work. And it's just a placeholder until we figure out what else could work, right? So most physicists will tell you dark matter is a major problem. We don't know if it's real at all. It's just plugged in to make the math work. But I'm saying that if the Earth is geocentric and everything's electromagnetic, you don't even need it. So how would that not be a better theory? That's what I don't
Okay,
understand.
let's get to gravity. What do you think gravity is? You think that the moon is a plasma. You don't know if it's a sphere. Could be. You don't care. That's
Yeah,
not a cope. That's just you not caring. For some reason, that's something you don't care about.
I can't
The
verify.
what?
I just can't verify it. I would love to know what it is.
Right.
Yeah,
But you
I
don't
just
know.
can't.
But you don't know what it is. Don't know if it's a sphere. Don't know if it's a plasma. Don't know if it's solid. Don't know if it makes its own light. Don't know if it's sunlight reflected. Just don't
I
know.
don't think so, but yeah.
But don't think so. What do you think gravity is? What do you think is the force that causes when I jump, I go down? Why I go down?
Yeah. Okay, so
Why?
people hate that it's not a straightforward answer. So there's little g. So like if you're asking me why things go down, well, it's because I picked the phone up and I dropped it. It went down.
Nope. No.
And
No.
it
No.
weighs
Stop. 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 That wasn't a why.
no, yeah, it is. The phone doesn't drop
Why does
until
thing go
I pick
down?
it up.
Because thing go
It
down.
weighs more than the air. It
That's a
weighs more than the air.
tautology. That's not an answer.
It weighs more than the air.
Why does it weigh more than the air?
Okay? Because it has weight equals mass times acceleration. So it means it has
Why does that happen?
okay, because we have to define the terms. So like what is mass? Mass is volume times density,
Uh-huh.
meaning in a certain amount of volume, there's a certain amount of matter. And density means compactness of matter. So since my phone has a certain compactness of matter within its little volume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Its mass times the fact that we know it's going to fall at a certain rate can help us determine its weight. Okay, so then we need to figure out, wait, what's giving it density? Right? What's giving it the density? Mass equals volume times density. That's what's making it go down. So what gives it density? What's making the matter compacted,
Mm-hmm.
right? Holding it together. And the answer is electrostatics. All molecular and intermolecular attractive forces are
Mm-hmm.
electrostatic.
Mm-hmm.
So every piece of matter in the world is held together by electrostatic bonds.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the primary thing that's giving it its density, that's therefore going to give it its weight, and things are going to fall. Okay. And we have little g, which is gravity, right? And that's 9.8 meters per second squared. That's just how fast the things fall on average. So it's just an effect. It's like things fall down, we measure how fast they fall, and we give it a value. You could replace little g with little a, right? The reason we don't do that is because we use little a for other things as well, and it kind of can get confusing if you don't. So we just use a different letter. All it is downward acceleration. Little g, 9.8 per second squared, is just the effect, right? It's like the average of how fast
The
things fall.
effect of what?
How just the effect of how fast things fall.
You told me everything you know about gravity, but I'm still waiting for why does it fall?
I just explained it. I said it's more dense.
No, you
than
just told me what
the
happens,
air.
but you didn't tell me why.
I said because it's more, it has weight, it's heavier than the air.
But
It's more
why
dense
would
than the air
density cause it to fall?
because the object is going to mediate relative to its medium,
Why
meaning
would it
like
do? Why does it do that?
because everything in the universe does that. Everything is trying to seek equilibrium. Everything is, right?
Wait, wait,
Like
wait,
that's
wait, wait,
why,
wait, wait, wait. It's seeking.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything seeks equilibrium, like the second law of
It
thermodynamics.
seeks it out.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's
The
just the
thing
terminology
itself
that
is seeking.
it's not sentient, no, but come on, bro.
So
That's
there's a
what that's what
is
that's
there a force at play there that's causing that to happen?
well, that we call buoyancy a force because it acts as a
Who
force
calls
and then we say
buoyancy a force?
it's called the buoyant force. Everyone calls it that.
Is
That's what
buoyancy a
physics calls it.
force?
Yeah, yeah, the buoyant force. But anyway, I will say there's something else to it. So most flat earthers just say like density and buoyancy, you know? And I don't
So
agree that
so
that's
what is
all.
buoyancy?
Okay,
I just looked it
buoyancy,
up, so I know the answer. So it's a trick question.
it's gonna well, it's not a trick question though. You know, I know,
Yeah.
right? So
Okay.
the equation for buoyancy has little g in it. Oh, we just covered
No, no,
that's
no.
just the
All
effect.
right, all right.
Wait. It's the effect because of gravity. I know what the gotcha is. Okay,
Okay.
it's that the density of the object relative to the medium go up or down based on gravity. The idea is if it goes up, it's because the air is being pulled down, and that it goes up in relation to the medium. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Now it's important to understand though that in that
So buoyancy is
equation.
water pushing up on the ship.
Sure, that's how people conceptualize it.
How do
But
you
this is what's important.
conceptualize it?
Well, I'm trying to explain it, bro. Like I do think that there is a downward bias. Okay. Like I think that, and this is why though, is because there's tons of electromagnetic energy coming from the sky. Tons of it. People call them cosmic rays and all that stuff. We can measure it, right? Like tons of EM comes from the sky. It's like pressing down on us.
Can it be
And there's all
blocked?
no, it can never be completely blocked.
Why
So
not?
you can
What kind of
try to.
electromagnetic energy you can't block? You can't just put a lead umbrella over you and then just float up. Why not?
Okay, chill, bro. That's ridiculous. You just Mary Poppins to me, bro.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you can block electromagnetic energy all the time. It's like
no, no,
piece of cake.
you can block a lot of it, and we usually use Faraday cages to do
Sure.
that. That's the best thing. But there's no such thing as a perfect Faraday cage, and if anyone can make one,
What about a partial one? Can you
no, yeah,
diminish the effect of gravity in a Faraday cage? Do you get half as
well,
heavy?
this is the point that everyone gets confused here. I never can get past this part. It's like everyone thinks there has to be a force pulling us down to the earth because that's what they think gravity is. But really, it's just there's a downward bias that sets up and down, and then the density is going to sort everything else out. If I get in a Faraday cage, my density didn't change, right? Like my density is still the same. And even in a vacuum chamber, there is what's called electric permittivity and magnetic permeability. Fancy way of saying even in a vacuum, there's still electric and magnetic fields. You can never get rid of it. Even in a Faraday cage, there's electric and magnetic fields. Even if you put Faraday material between objects, blah blah blah, you can never get rid of it. You can significantly decrease it though, but on the smallest scale, right? Like electrostatics is 10 to the 36th power stronger than gravity's even claimed to be on the smallest scale. So that is the dominant force on the earth. Everything's electric. And by the way, Nikola Tesla explained this, and then the government came in and took most of his work, right? And now people think that I don't want to go on a rabbit hole, but now people think UFOs are crazy. They must defy material sciences. It must be aliens, all this weirdo stuff. Like, no, it's just electric. And the government hid it, and they gave you this Jewish mysticism physics so that you won't know what they're doing. But long story short, everything's electric, bro. That's it. And there's energy that comes down from the sky. And I did a test and proved it. I like if you change the charge, you can make an object go up. Like I put two plates with objects inside the plates, and so it has an electric field in between the plates. Just like on the Earth, we have an electric field. Then I started spinning a Van de Graaff generator. So it's a little belt, right? And it creates friction, which creates charge, and then it'll transfer it to whatever you plug the wires on. Okay, so when I started doing that, after I put the negative on top and the positive on bottom, and I started spinning it up, all of a sudden the object went up.
What kind of object?
And so I did a little iron filing. So iron,
Mm-hmm.
like styrofoam, wood, hair, paint. There is no object that would be like that wouldn't be affected. But what most
Well,
people
you
will
did it
say
with
is,
wood and hair too.
yeah.
So you can
And
make wood and hair levitate.
yeah, bro, yeah. But
That's big if true.
and those are insulators, right? So those are what people would think you couldn't do it with, right? But you can do it with everything. That's why I did the wood and stuff. But the problem is my Van de Graaff generator was only so strong, so I had to do like small things, right? Um, to like say levitate you for example, I would have to kill you like 1,000 times over. I would have to put so much charge on you that you would die.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, like, even MIT just made a drone that works off of this principle. It has no propellers. It's just using electrostatics to make it float. Frankly, the Nazis used it with electrogravitic propulsion with UFOs. So anyway, yeah, that's how you could do it. It's like you have to scale it up. And bumblebees fly this way. Bumblebees are not aerodynamic, but they have these crazy wings that create vortexes in a resonance cavity inside their body, and that creates like it matches the resonance of the EM field around it, creates like this little bubble around it, a magnetic field, and it can go through crosswinds of up to 60 miles per hour unaffected, even though it's not aerodynamic. And I would say they replicate that for all these other crafts, but everything is electric. It's the biggest secret, bro. The biggest secret is that they hid how everything works in terms of electromagnetic
I think
energy.
there's a lot of weird mysteries there with vibrations and things like that, and that's really what electricity is essentially. But
I agree with that.
So you're saying that there's electromagnetic forces coming down from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be blocked, not even partially, but they can be countered.
They can partially be blocked.
How much?
A Faraday cage blocks a lot of it, but it's still there. Even say it's 90%. It's like.
But then wouldn't you get 90% lighter if you were in a Faraday cage?
No. See, that's the misconception. All it does is.
So you can't block those ones that make you have weight.
No, it's not that. Okay. What makes you have weight is that you're more compact than the medium. Like your density is gonna go down. That's all gravity means, by the way, is that something's heavy. So what the EM is doing is just creating the up and down. Like most people will ask, why down? Why doesn't it go up? Why doesn't it go to the sides? Why does everything go down? Right? Like that's what they're really asking. And I'm answering that. It's because
that's not what I'm really asking.
That is the question, though. The question is,
no, it's not.
Why do things go down?
It's not why is it that direction. The question is why does the thing move? What causes the acceleration?
It's more dense than its environment.
Why would density cause acceleration to happen? And you're saying because of magnetic energy from the sky.
I'm saying that just creates the up and down, and density and buoyancy sorts the rest out. And
density and buoyancies are forces of the thing that you can't invoke the thing to describe the thing. You're doing a tautology.
Only if you conflate the two gravities.
You're saying apples taste like apples because that's apple flavor.
No.
Well, what causes the flavor? The appleness of the apple does. Like, no, dog.
You're conflating the two gravities. Little g is just the effect. And then there's a claim that there's a force that makes things fall down. And actually, that isn't even the claim. It's that the bending and warping of space-time creates a gravity well.
And the claim is the first law. It's like the object in motion tends to stay in motion, or object at rest stays at rest, unless acted upon.
Newton's laws.
Right. Yeah. Unless
acted upon. That's been debunked. In your model, that's been debunked. Newtonian gravity doesn't work anymore.